Hello everyone, it's me, Eclectic White Witch. I am so sorry that I have not recently made a video for you guys. I've actually just recently got a new job, and I've been adding and doing more things with my personal book, so I decided to show you guys, what's been taking up my time and what I've been doing with my book, and I realized I haven't even shown you guys my book or anything of it, really. So, I decided to make a video. This is what the outside looks like. It's leather bound by this cord. It flips open. It has this ribbon bookmarker, which I like. Ignore these sticky notes. I actually plan on doing something with those later, which I'll explain. I'm going to explain to you guys my plans for this book from front to cover. Now, it's not completely done. I'm still adding more to it, which is why I've been so busy, along with my new job, like I said. I'm only for real about like halfway through it, as you can tell, and I'm actually in the process of adding more pages in the back, as you can see. It still fits in securely, like it's still able to close, so I haven't had a problem with it. But I'm gonna unwrap it and open it and show you guys what it looks like. And this video is just gonna be a little flip through, so you guys can have an idea what subjects I like to keep in my book and stuff like that. Because as you know, a witch's book is pretty much a reflection of herself, and her path, or his path. Okay, so it opens like this. Now this is the front inner cover. I actually plan on making this book a conduit, so I'm going to do something within this page, and it's actually reflected the same on the back. That's kind of how a conduit works. Let's see if I can grab all this. Ooh. Yeah, but you see how it's repeated from the front to the back? That's going to work with my conduit. I still have to get so many things in place. I'm going to be making my book's personal, my book sigil, my personal sigil, and other stuff like that. So it's going to be all right here and around this. So that's still going to be a work in process. I'm waiting to get more, what's it called, supplies for it. Okay, so I flipped this over. Now, as you could tell, this is black. The pages within this book are originally this color. I wrote, like, my name and stuff like that, like, this belongs to, because this was actually a journal when I bought it, I'm using it for my book, and I love it. I actually bought this at Barnes & Noble for like $35 or something like that. That was his original price. I got it a little bit on sale. But yeah, it was worth it to me. It's travel size, you can tell. So, I know, bare my hairy arms. Okay, so I flipped this over. Now this is a little passage I have right here explaining that this is my letter for my book. This is a protection sigil along with my signature. So this goes with this, and this actually folds up on my last piece of parchment paper. I wrote this. So this is my personal letter in my book. It just describes, like, I'm the one who wrote it, what my path is, what this book's about, and what my path's about, stuff like that. So that's what it looks like. Okay, I need to fold this. Okay. And I'm thinking about putting my book blessing here. That's still yet to be coming. I know that's the first thing you should ever do, but I am doing this untraditionally. Yeah. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put, it flips over, open like this, but, this was the page I added, like the front, which is why that's, the paper's black. I just used a construction paper, and then I, taped it in really, really well. This is going to have my, table of contents. I'm going to have it flip open like this. Okay, so this is an envelope, and it explains what the Law of Three is. So I take this out, and this has the Law of Three, on it. So that's what it looks like. And then I have this ribbon on it, which is the purple and this, so I can just hold it just like this and read it. I thought it was cool. I like it. I'll put it in like maybe last week or something like that. Sorry, I needed two hands to do that. Okay, and then right here, this is actually a piece of paper that sticks out. see if I can grab it with one hand. It feels literally impossible. Oh, it's coming out. Okay. So this explains what the Law of Three is. I add some ribbon at the ends, some tape, you can kind of tell. So I open this up, and it just explains what the Law of Three is and that type of thing. So I'm going to fold this back and put it back inside. Alright, and then right next to it right here, sorry, I'm trying to let it focus. This is the Wiccan Reed, and obviously that's not all of it, so it flips over just like that, and I secured it with little thin strips of paper, and I taped it in. So this is the Wiccan Reed, and that's the Wheel of Year, and that's the elemental signs. Yeah, so it all folds like that. That's gonna have my table of contents. Now this is my preface of my book, just like regular books have. I put one in mine. This explains the what magic is and what the magic circle is. This starts going into the elements, so this is just it mapped out, and then it goes into specific in depth. This is with earth. This is fire. Now, I like to highlight and stuff because if I'm writing something and I'm looking back on it, I want to be able to read it. So, water, air, and then this is like a summary of all that. And this is how to determine what element you are based on your zodiac sign. So, with me, or my sister, she is a Leo, and she is born in this category, so she is associated with fire. And then this is just like a general, like, what the 8 Sabbats are and how they're important. Like, it's obviously, it's not in depth. It's just a quick little, like, this is what the 8 Sabbats are, clearly. Now, this is the Wheel of Year. And then this is a correspondence chart to the Sabbats, its purpose, and then when it occurs in the northern and southern hemisphere. Now you see with this sticky note, I know it looks so ugly, but I actually just recently put these in here because every place in my book where I actually plan, where I stuck these in, I actually plan on putting a leather cord with a flat piece of stone so I can close it into my book, because when I add the conduit on the front and backs of my book, I'm going to use the stones to kind of allow the energy to pass through the pages, so it's a form of protection and that type of thing. Yeah, so that's why I have these sticky notes sticking out, and they're on a few places in the book. So okay, this is a quick little entry on working with familiars and familiar spirits. This is shown on totem energy stones. This is an intro to spirit guides. I have a more in-depth version later on in the book. And then how to communicate with your spirit guides and a special note to remember. Now, this is my spell formula that I have written for myself. It's what works for me. I write my own spells, and I refer back to this a lot. So that's why I have a sticky note here, so I can put a stone. Because these charms with the stones and stuff like that, yeah, it's going to help the conduit, but it's also going to be like a bookmarker, you know? Now this is where I start with ritual magic. Like, you know, the different elements of a ritual, you know, what is it, and that type of thing. So yeah, this is elements of ritual, so it goes off with color magic. I actually have a few entries on color magic. I don't know why, but I just do. Incorporating dance into your ritual work, hand gestures, breathing techniques, how that relates to meditation, and how to do it. The tools and the importance of how to consecrate and cleanse them and bless them and all that stuff. And then this is a list of the basic tools. And then here it is in depth. Now, as you can tell, the very beginning in my book, I don't have too many pictures. But as I go further, I actually started, you know, wanting to make it pretty and stuff. So, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. So yeah, this is just more of the tools, so I'm just going to flip through that. This is about amulets and talismans, how they're different, how they're alike, and just about them in general, and how to use them. Now this goes into herbs and crystals and stone magic, so that's just a little bit about that. And then here's a specific list on gems and stones that I have written in my book. And then more gems and what they do. Now this starts talking more about herbs specifically. And then this is correspondence to of trees. If you're using trees, like if you want to make your own wand or so on and so forth, if you're working with trees and you want to know what their properties are and that type of thing, I have that list right here. This is an entry that someone asked me about one of my groups. It's about using animal parts as ritual items. This is basically a guideline to that. I don't do it for a few purposes, but the purposes are pretty much listed here. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on it if you guys want to know, because it is kind of controversial, but I state it in here, so. And then this is just a little quote. I have some quotes incorporating the book to give me inspiration, or if it relates to, you know, what is being written. Now this is about visualization and that type of thing, you know, belief, desire, visualization, everything. More on color magic. Now, as you know, color magic is more than just candles, so, but this was obviously specifically for candles, but it goes with pretty much anything. So I wrote the burning times for all of them, and this is where I'm going to put another gem. Now this is different ways of cleansing and purifying. This works with yourself, a space, an item, you know, all that type of stuff. So I just listed the different methods of doing that, you know, in depth and that type of thing. And then, another quote, this is on different types of magic. So binding, candle magic, crystals, dream, elemental, poppet, sex, knot magic, you know, just the different variations. So I wrote that in there. And these are, of course, the warning signs of, you know, when you're trying different methods of magic and some specific ones. This is just another quote. Now, this is a physical diagram on that I drew myself and wrote my own personal notes on how to cast a circle. So this is like a visual representation of that. And then this is how to actually cast a circle. So that goes on for a few pages. This is the 10 Wiccan Commandments. I'm eclectic, so I have a little bit, a different degree of different religions throughout my book. Like in the beginning, I had, you know, the 10 Christian commandments and the 7 deadly sins. So whatever I feel fits me, I put in here. This is how, a how-to on grounding and why is it important, you know. It's very important for me because I'm an empath, so I have to ground and cleanse myself on occasion, so it needs to be more of a daily practice, or at least a weekly practice, I believe, but okay, this is on lunar phases and magical workings. This was the section I used when I was making my video, so this is what I was looking at, you guys. Yep, now these are obviously not the best pictures. These are probably the worst drawings I have throughout my entire book, but it's okay. I get the gist of it. Now this is on time correspondences. That was also mentioned in the video. So this is what I was looking at, and this is a little quote where I'm going to obviously put another stone. Now this is like a whole section itself on the 7 main chakras. So this is, you know, start from your root to your crown. This is what the 7 chakras are and the goals to having them and what influences them. And then this is like a chart that I have for several pages, like 3 pages, but yeah. And this is the diagram I made. This is shows the 7 chakras, where they are along your body. This explains what that chakra deals with, and this is what blocks it. So I have that diagram I drew myself. And these are some quotes. That's a quote dealing with chakras. And then this is obviously where I start getting more pictures, drawing more pictures in my book. This deals with chakra stimulation when you're working with gemstones. So I list the different colors of gemstones and how they relate to our chakras. So I have that in here. And yes, I hand drew everything. So everything in this book I wrote, and you can tell because I mess up sometimes, but I want it to be genuine. I want to put all my energy and intent and knowledge in this book, so that's what I did. This is how to open your spiritual chakras, so it goes on for several pages on how to do that. Like, I'll list, you know, what the chakra does, and how it, you know, how, you know, what's it like, the symptoms when it's open, when it's closed, when it's underactive and overactive, and then how to open them. So I did that with every chakra. So that's obviously the root, and that's the sacral, navel, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye, and then the crown. So I have that with all of them. Now, this is a whole section on chiromancy. Now, I don't use tarot cards or oracle cards. I use these regular playing cards, you know, with the heart, clubs, spades, and clovers. So that's what I do. You know, hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades, yeah. So I have a section on, you know, what chiromancy means, the 4 suits corresponding to their elements, and what each suit means, different card spreads, explaining how the regular playing deck is the Book of Life using numbers. And then this is how to cleanse your deck. I explained why is it important to cleanse your deck. And then these are situations. Sorry, I'm trying to let it focus. These are situations on when I feel like they should be cleansed. So I have that. And this is different ways of cleansing the deck, how to keep them clean after you did that. And then this is like an overview glance of what each card of each suit means. And then after that, it goes with in-depth of what each card specifically means. This is some tips when you're just doing readings, card readings for anyone. So those personal tips. Now this goes on for several pages, like literally. So I'm just gonna try to find the next section because it literally goes on like that forever. Okay, so after all the cards of each suit, I have a small section on reincarnation, so it explains what it is, and obviously that's the reincarnation symbol, and that's the infinity symbol. This deals with channeling with past lives and what that's about, and these are like the 8 general rules of reincarnation I found online, and I decided to write them in here with me because they spoke, it felt right to me. This deals with spirit guides and or what Christians call guardian angels. This is the in-depth version of all of them. And I can do a separate video for you guys if you want, because I have all the information right here. It deals with what spirit guides are, like their role with us, and then these are like ways that they guide us, like messages, signs that they help us. So sending signs and yada yada yada. And then how to build a stronger connection with your spirit guide. I have information like that. And then I have how do you know if you're hearing your spirit guide, like what questions you ask yourself. And then these are just like some quotes. Okay, this goes with sympathetic magic, deal with magical links and all that stuff. Yeah, the different variations. Magical banishing. How to do that. Like, I write all these passages like very general because I just, you know, I'm a eclectic white witch, so anything in here could be used for, you know, good or bad. So that's how I like to write it, you know, because it's all about intent. But that's about magical banishing. That's the protection sigil used on my letter, as you remember in the front. And then this deals with the meaning of incense smoke, as opposed to when it's like thin and flowing up, to when it's like, you know, dense and spurred out. Magical self-defense and protection. How do you know if you're under like a hex or anything like that? and then methods of magical protection, like different methods you can use to protect yourself. I've written them down, and then I have specific herbs, gems, and stuff like that can help. So these are the herbs and their properties, and then this is the gemstones. Now this section right here is very personal to me. Well, all of this is personal to me, but I wrote this section right here. This is like a little note I have, like how to perform a successful ritual. So these are like the precepts I wrote for what I do, and then this is like a visual representation. And then these are like the actual steps on this side, on how to have a successful ritual. And then this is like, you know, descriptions for each of the steps and stuff like that. I just kind of jot down. So that's nice. And then I have how to call the quarters, the elements, and then how to dismiss them. And then this is another quote. Okay, and then this section is on how to achieve and master telepathy. This could be with dream telepathy or anything like that. Anything to do with telepathy. This is how to achieve it and just about it in general. So that's what it is, and I drew a picture. And then these are the Zener cards, so I drew them on the side and noted what they are. And then these are obviously the steps on how to achieve it. And this is just a visual representation of different aspects and parts of our own selves, like emotion, sensation, imagination, intuition, thoughts, desire and impulse, self, will, you know, stuff like that. These are more steps on telepathy, how to achieve it. And then this is a different section. This section leads to herbs and tonics for ESP. This is for herbs that stimulate that, specific ones and how they help. And then here are a few recipes. This is Psychic Dream Powder. I write down what it is, and then of course you know the ingredients. This one's for a dreaming oil, and then this is a protection oil, a healing oil, and then a purification oil. And then here is just quotes. This is the sevenfold blessing. This is just the incanta of that. Of course, the ritual part would be more in depth, but I just wrote the incanta down. This is anointing with the ancients oil right here. This is how to make drip-proof candles, so that's like a little recipe there. And then this is a quote on a deceased loved one. So I had someone that passed that meant a lot to me in my life. It was my familiar, and I wrote down the pagan perspective on how to handle that, and then I wrote like a little personal note here, so that's nice. And then here I wrote down the importance of protection and cleansing yourself, and then this is like a little prayer that I wrote down here, and then this is like 2 protection invocations, so I have them 2 right here. That's night, that's day. I just want some contrast. And then that goes on about the different types of witches. So I have the augury witch, ceremonial witch, eclectic witch, which I am, fairy witch, the green witch, hedge witch, hereditary witch. I know, these are not the best drawings, but whatever. The kitchen/cottage witch, the solitary witch, and then this, obviously, this is a controversial page. This explains about the controversy on the Satanic witch, you know, what people think, but I'll just say this, so for no argument's sake, Satan worshippers are not witches, and witches do not worship Satan. There, I said it. So yeah, those are the types of witches. I wanted to mention that in here because there's so much controversy. You know, they think that, oh my god, witches worship the devil and all this stuff, and I want to mention that that's not true and why it is that way, so I put that in there. And then this right here starts my divination section. I haven't colored these pictures in just because I just don't feel like I need to. But this deals with what astrology is and how it's been used in history, and then it goes off with the specific tools and methods of divination. So this explains on astrology, augury, aura readings, automatic writing, I can't pronounce that word, crystal ball scrying, dice rolling, which I actually plan on trying. This is the field that you use for that. And these are the answers if you try to throw the dice. Fire and smoke scrying. Haru spicy. Sorry, this is why I don't like pronounce names, because I just butcher them. This is the I Ching, and then numerology. Remember, these are all divination methods and tools. Palmistry, oracle cards, which I need to highlight in green. Goodness. The pendulum and how to use it. Runes in general. Tarot cards. Scrying mirror, scrying bowl, Ouija boards, tea leaves, vision quest, meditation guides, wind listening, and then wind watching. And then this is a section on channeling itself. And then this is a bit of a glare because I have not secured this in place, but it's basically like a little plastic film. I don't know if the plastic is going to ruin the energy motion throughout the book of, you know, since I'm trying to make it to a conduit, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out. I might not keep it in here, but this just explains, this is the section I'm on currently right now. This is dealing with, my abilities, so I have a little, entry right here explaining that this next section is going to be on my personal gifts and stuff like that. So I wrote down the spiritual gift of clairvoyance, what it is, and blocks to that, and how to use it, improve it better, all that stuff. And then these are information on the clair senses. So I have all that. Being an empath, and information on that. I haven't highlighted anything yet because these are still kind of fresh, new. And this is really, really new. This is what I did like 2 days ago. As you can see, it's like not colored in or anything. But this deals with the 10 signs of psychic awakening and how to embrace them. So what causes an awakening and the symptoms and how to embrace it, blah, blah, blah. So it goes on for a few pages like that. Sorry it's not colored, so it's not as pretty, but... And then this is the next section that I'm actually currently working on, which is mediumship. I haven't done anything with that yet, so... And obviously that's where it ends, so... I have all that, but I still have all this yet to do. But that's not all. As you... Like I said, I'm still adding pages to my book. Now this is... the beginning of it. Now, all these pages are secured because I'm actually, like I said, still trying to add more. But this is a page lined with ribbon that I taped in place. So it's like a cover of like a mini book. I'm thinking, yes, this is like my Book of Shadows and Grimoire and all that stuff. But this is going to be like a different extension of that. So this is going to be like a little mini book within this book. So... I have some lined pages, and I'm actually in the process of adding these pages blank. Just I bought some copy paper, and then these two little flaps is actually how I secure them in place. So I know it looks weird now, but eventually this is going to be in here. So this is the pentagram in the back, and I don't know yet what I'm going to put in here. But generally speaking, that is my Book of Shadows. I'm actually thinking about changing the name of Book of Shadows because I'm a white witch and I feel like, I don't know, recently I've been feeling drawn to name it. But if you actually sat down and watched this entire video, thank you. And be sure to leave me your feedback. I would love to know what y'all think and know what your impressions are. I know it wasn't the most beautiful thing, but it's literally like my baby. I love it so much. I have so many plans for this book, so I guess as I go along in my book, I'll make more videos. I hope I inspired you guys to have some ideas of your own for your own Book of Shadows. If you have any request for any future videos, let me know. I am back to making videos. Thank you guys. Blessed be in love and light.